10-Minute Jazz Lesson Podcast, episode 318. Hey everybody, welcome back to episode 318 of the 10-Minute Jazz Lesson Podcast. So good to have you back, and if you're new to the show, welcome in. What we do every week on this show is a short and concise, useful jazz lesson that you can take with you in your journey to being a better jazz improviser. So this month we are going to continue our series on practical jazz theory. We're going to talk a little bit more about cadences, but in a different way than we talked about in the last couple of episodes. So before we jump into the show, just a reminder, this is a listener-supported podcast. We do not have any advertisements on the show except for this quick one. And the way that we support the show is through the Patreon platform and generous donations from listeners such as you. So if you want to hop on over and learn how to support the show with a small monthly donation, you do get PDFs and audio examples for every single episode in return. Go to our website, 10minutejazzlesson.com, click on one of the Patreon banners, and you can get all the info and sign up for instant access to all those materials. Quick shout out to some new patrons this week. Thank you to Mark for becoming a $5 patron, and thank you to Mimi for editing your pledge from $3 up to $5. So again, if you want brand new jazz improvisation materials every single week, go over to our website, 10minutejazzlesson.com, click on one of the Patreon banners, get yourself signed up today. All right, so we're going to continue talking about some cadences and interesting and practical ways to practice them. Now, what we did in parts 1 and 2 of this series is we talked about the difference between authentic cadences and deceptive cadences. We gave a bunch of examples of different deceptive cadences. This week, we're going to deal purely with the authentic cadences, but I'm going to present it to you in a way that will make it very easy and clear on how to practice a bunch of these authentic cadences. And we all know that we should be practicing the 2-5-1 progression, but sometimes it can get really boring, right? To just practice your 2-5-1 over and over again, cycle through the keys, all that kind of stuff. So this is a method that I learned from the great Jens Larsen. He has an excellent YouTube channel. He's an amazing, amazing jazz guitarist and one of the best jazz educators that I know of. So if you do not know Jen's work, I will drop a link to his YouTube channel in the show notes. So make sure you go and check him out because he is a person that everybody should be familiar with. You have so much to learn from this person. So thanks to Jens for this idea, and I wanted to kind of flush it out a little bit more and talk about how to practice it. All right, so in order to work on this exercise that I'm going to give you, we need to remind ourselves of the diatonic chords in a major scale. So let's quickly just review that. I think most of you know exactly what these are, but let's get them in our heads, and that's where we're going to base things off of. So if we took a C major scale and we figured out all 7 diatonic chords, we would start with C major 7. Then if we move up to the second step, we get D minor 7. Move up to the 3 chord and we get E minor 7. Move up to the 4th, we get F major 7. Move up to the 5th, we get G7. 6th, A minor 7. 7th, B minor 7 flat 5. And then we are back on the 1, which is C major 7. So what we're going to do is we're going to base this exercise off of a cadence moving into each one of those 7 diatonic chords. And what this will do is this will really help you with a lot of pattern recognition in jazz standards that you're going to play, because so often composers like to play off of authentic cadences into different diatonic chords of the major scale. So like a perfect example would be the fact that so many jazz standards modulate to the key of the 4. So we see that 2-5-1 going into the 4 very, very often. Another example would be a lot of tunes modulate to the relative minor. So that would be a 2-5 going into the key of the 6. So already we can see that there are many, many applications for this exercise that I'm about to show you. Now, the gist of the exercise is very, very simple, but actually practicing it, just like anything else in jazz, is going to take you a while. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to take each one of those diatonic chords in the key of C, and we're going to play an authentic cadence in the form of a 2-5-1 into each one of those chords. So if you look at your PDF, I'm going to do this in the key of concert C, but you can find the PDF for your instrument, whatever you play, and follow along. So basically there's 7 different chord progressions. The first one is a 2-5 into the 1 chord, so into concert C, D minor 7 to G7 to C. Now what we're going to do is we're going to move up to the 2 in the key of concert C. So our target chord here is D minor 7. And what we're going to do is we're going to play a 2-5 into that. Since it's a minor chord, we use our minor 7 flat 5 over the 2 chord, and then we use our dominant 7 flat 9 over the 5 chord. So that's going to end up being E minor 7 flat 5 to A7 flat 9, arriving at D minor 7. So now we jump up to the 3, which is of course an E minor 7 chord. So now we get the 2, F sharp minor 7 flat 5 to B7 flat 9 to E minor 7. Now we're going to go up to the 4, which is a major chord. So we go back to just our plain old run-of-the-mill 2-5, G minor 7 to C7 to F major 7. Now we're going to go up to the 5. Now this one's an interesting one because we're going to be resolving to a dominant chord. Most of you should recognize this though, because this is exactly what happens in the blues. So if our 5 chord is G7, we're going to use an A minor 7 to D7 to G7. Sounds a lot more bluesy than any of the other ones. All right, now we're going to go to the 6th chord, which is A minor 7. We're going to do our 2-5, B minor 7 flat 5 to E7 flat 9 to A minor 7. Right? And then we have one left, and this one's kind of awkward, right? Because the 7th diatonic chord of a major scale is a half diminished chord. It's a B minor 7 flat 5. So the 2 would be C sharp minor 7 flat 5 to F sharp 7 flat 9. And then you're going to notice it's going to sound a little bit awkward when we quote unquote resolve to B minor 7 flat 5. It sounds like the chord progression should keep going, right? But we still want to practice this. Here it is again. Sounds like it should keep going down, right? And it should start another 2-5. But nevertheless, we still want to practice that. So here's what you should do in terms of practicing. What you should do is you should start in the key of concert C and just go down the page and improvise over each one of these 2-5 progressions. Now the cool thing is you're staying in the key of concert C, right? But you're going to be practicing 7 different 2-5s in basically different keys. And it's really nice because it's a mixture of minor 2-5-1s and major 2-5-1s. So you're really getting a little bit of a taste of everything, and it's getting thrown at you pretty quickly. So of course, just like anything else that we do in jazz, once you get pretty good at doing this in the key of concert C, you've got to move to a different key. Now, a lot of the 2-5s are going to repeat themselves in the different keys, but at the same time, all of them will change at some point as well. So this is just a cool way to break out of like practicing your 2-5s just right around the circle of fourths and always keeping the qualities the same. So always doing a 2-5 to a major key or always doing a 2-5 to a minor key. This is a great way of getting your brain to think in a different way. And plus, if you practice these in a major key, right? So if you practice this in just the key of C major and all the diatonic seventh chords that go along with this, you're also going to start to recognize the way that tunes work from a different point of view, and you're going to start to see a lot of patterns that maybe you weren't able to see before. So what I've done for the Patreon members is, for the $5 members, I'm actually including an iReal Pro chart that are these chords laid out in the key of concert C. And what you can do is you can import that into your iReal app, and you can just change the key, right? So you will be able to practice this in any major key that you want to, at any tempo you want to. And I've prepared that for you so that it's absolutely ready to go. So stick in the key of concert C first. See what you can do there. See if you can start to wrap your ears around it. Make sure you can get through all of these 2-5-1s. And then when you feel comfortable with that, throw it in another key. And eventually, obviously, the goal is to be able to do it in all 12 keys. This could be a great thing to do on a daily basis. Just put on that backing track, cycle through one key, and then you're done for the day. And then on the next day, you could either do the same key or you can move to a different key. But this would be a great, easy and quick way to just run through some 2-5s and do some improvising. So what I'm going to do at the end of the episode here is I'm going to play over all 7 of those 2-5-1s in the key of concert C, just to give you an idea of how I would approach it. And then your homework is to start doing this right away and start to see some of the benefits that come from this. All right, so let me know if you have any questions. You can get in touch with me on the 10-Minute Jazz Lesson Community Facebook group, or you can always email me at 10minutejazzlesson@gmail.com. Hope you're all doing well out there. This is an important tool that's going to start getting the sound of these authentic cadences in your ears in a very organized and practical fashion. All right. Have a great weekend, everybody. We will see you next week with another brand new episode. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.